The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on
This is
Sunday.
about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Guns up. Guns up. Why did I have a
giddy up?
echo?
Giddy up! I said it.
Okay.
You are addicted to having your laptop open and on.
I don't know.
You're addicted.
Oh, I unmuted. Okay.
You are
I'm right.
addicted to staring at the laptop.
Okay, we're good. I'm there.
What is on there? What is on there that's so compelling?
I don't know. Only fix my mic. I'm good.
You've had all day to prep the studio, and you wait till we go live to get it all squared away.
I'm here now, and I'm ready.
That's what
Put me
matters.
in,
That's
coach.
what matters. Welcome to Failure to Stop Night Shift. Failure to Stop. We're a family of podcasts now, aren't we? We're a happy little family, painted by Bob Ross, and you're listening to Night Shift, baby. And tonight we have a glorious evening ahead. So grab your favorite beverage, whatever it is. Mine is a Free Wave Hazy IPA from Athletic Brewing. Is a non-alcoholic IPA, baby, because I'm sober this year. What do you got?
Well, I'm a
Did you go get something?
heterosexual toxic man, and I'm drinking Victory Golden Monkey. I don't know why I said it like that, but
sounds super manly.
yeah,
For sure.
pretty manly.
Pretty manly. Well, do we have any housekeeping items that we need to cover before we bring our guest on?
Nope, I'm in a new studio. Everything is going great. I'm nervous. I'm waiting.
Why
for
are you
something
nervous?
To explode. I don't know. I feel like
Haven't you been on
backdrop's
combat
gonna
teams?
fall. Yeah, but this is more stressful. And we have Jack Mandeville coming on in just a second, and I'm sweating already. My
Jack
nose
puts
feels
his
red.
pants and his whitey tighties on the same way we do.
That is not true. That is not true.
Maybe-
Have you ever met Jack
Actually, he
Mandeville?
might not. He might not
No
put
way.
it on the same way.
That is
Maybe we'll
not
find
true.
out. Tonight, for your viewing pleasure, if you're on the Failure to Stop YouTube channel, that's right. If you are only listening to the show, you can actually join us live and watch the show on our YouTube channel. We'll drop that link in the comments here on the YouTube channel, and we will drop. Yeah. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. They're already on the channel. I don't need to drop it in the links. That's pretty retarded. Sorry. My bad.
Drop it in the links.
Yeah, shut up, man. I've had one too many non-alcoholic IPAs, and I'm off the rails. Okay. Anyway, tonight we have for you Jack Mandeville, the founder of the Freedom Convoy in Canada, the CEO of Grindr. I mean, the list goes on and on. So welcome to the show, Jack Mandeville.
Thanks, Mike. Don't forget, I'm also a single mother. We're kind of the backbone of America.
Yeah, I shouldn't have let that one. I shouldn't have let that one slip by me. So,
I'm also, if anyone's looking for any representation, if you ever have any troops quartered in your house, I'm a Third Amendment lawyer as well.
Oh,
that pesky Third Amendment, you know.
Yeah, there's not a lot of us, so yeah. If you ever need a subject matter expert, there's only like 3 of us.
It's pretty niche field in the world of attorneys for sure.
Yeah,
how you been?
I don't deal with that Fourth Amendment BS.
I haven't seen you in forever, man. I feel like the last time, I don't know. I think I was at an airport in DC for Police Week or something, and that's the last time I remember
feel like
seeing you.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen you more running into you at airports and randomly like random work functions that either I probably wasn't supposed to be at in the first place. But I'm glad to see you again. You're as bald and as chiseled as ever.
Thank you. Yeah, our podcast art shows me chiseled like that. My forearms are freaking jacked, and Tansey's pretty accurate, I think, on the podcast.
Tansey definitely looks like an ex-cop.
Yeah, I look like a cross between Rosie O'Donnell and Jeremy Renner.
What do you got there? Oh, I thought it was milk. It just looks like ice water. I'm like, are you drinking?
I have a lot of milk. My nighttime routine the last 2 weeks is I have 4 Oreo cookies a night and I dunk them in milk and I just pass out.
Dude, I commented on that because I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing that forever. My kids even know that if there's only 4 Oreos left, they don't fucking touch the bag. Because if I don't get my Oreos and milk before I go to bed, I will rage.
Oreos are trash, dude. The only way an Oreo is good is at the bottom of an Oreo pie. It's kind of like people who like ketchup but don't like tomatoes. I hate Oreos, regular Oreos, but I like them if it's like part of a dessert.
You don't like mayonnaise either. This is like strike 10 for you.
Mayonnaise is utterly disgusting. Yeah, no. Wait, there's no world in which mayonnaise should be consumed. Nope. Absolutely not.
I'm from Minnesota. It's like the spice of life up there.
Well, there's not a lot of, I mean, that's probably where mayonnaise came from because there's a lot of, you just get bored in Minnesota being cold and all they did was invent weird condiments probably.
Yeah, my dad would always say, because I'm like one of the only white Minnesotans who's not Scandinavian. My dad would always say, it's some of that Norwegian bullshit.
Eat your mayonnaise
Dude,
just like the Vikings did.
You were just over in, what, were you in Norway? Was that where you were at?
Sweden, wasn't it?
Oh, you were in Sweden.
Let the record reflect I pay attention to Jack's life and you don't.
Yes, thank you. Min ex-flickvän är svenska.
I even learned some basic Swedish phrases from watching Jack's Instagram. So,
oh, mycket bra. Like that.
I don't remember much of it, but I understand. I know that it was something about I'm really hot in this sauna. I want to take a piss or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The beautiful part of the Sweden language, like the English language, is Germanic based, so it's not really, dog is hund, cat is caught. It's really, it's basic stuff. If you want to make this a show about linguists,
Yeah, no, dude, I'll nerd out with you over languages because I've actually tried to understand what is an easy language to transition to if you want to learn a language as an English speaker. Because I think they sell us a bill of bullshit on Spanish and French being easy to learn. And I think
different language base.
Some of the like Finnish or Scandinavian type languages are easier for English speakers to learn. There's a show that came out, I think it was on Netflix, Ragnarok. It was like it's like Thor in modern times. And I think it wasn't Danish. It was something. I can't remember which language it was. I think maybe Norwegian. And it's really similar to English when you hear it. And when you start breaking it down, it's like, oh, this isn't bad. But my research has led me to Indonesian as being probably way easier to learn. There's no verb tenses. There's no weird pronunciations. It's all regular pronunciation and it's all just straightforward. And the sentence structure is very basic. So I might try Indonesian next.
Yeah. I'm thinking about doing the same thing because I'm kind of getting sick of American women. So I might have to go pick me up an Indonesian broad.
There you go. I like it. What else you been up to, man? Like we literally had no idea what the show would be about other than the fact that maybe you'll tell us a story about why the Pledge of Allegiance is socialist. And outside of that, the show is yours to just, the reins are yours. Well, take us where you want us to go, my friend. This is just titled A Glorious Evening with Jack Mandeville. So,
well, what I've been up to is absolutely dog shit. Literally picking up my dog shit. I have an English bulldog. He's like 50% of my, personality is just having a bulldog. But I know I've just been working. I went W-2 with Black Rifle back in September, so I've been dedicating most of my time doing scripting and being in little silly videos And then, of course, I still do the Drink a Bro show every Friday. I wrapped up an indie film a couple months ago. So I take acting jobs whenever they, outside of Black Rifle and whatnot. I take acting jobs whenever they come up. And just, overall, I'm just a pest with my tax guy.
I like it. So have you had a hand in some of the latest BRCC ads, like the Matt Best? I just saw, I got hit with a sponsored ad from them where he shoots an arrow through the house and it spikes some steaks, some tomahawks or something onto the grill.
I think they did that one about a year ago. No, when it comes to action sequences, they don't even bother consulting me because my brain's not even capable of going there. But I'm like, hey, you guys need some dick and fart jokes? I'm your guy.
Or various condiments involving Jared Taylor, maybe. I don't know.
Jared's the food humor guy for sure. Yeah.
So how does the Pledge of Allegiance come from a socialist background? Lay it on us, man.
Right. So the Pledge of Allegiance is bullshit. Let's just start it out that way.
Jehovah's Witnesses agree with you.
What's that?
The Jehovah's Witnesses agree with you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna back them up on this. So in the late 19th century, so first off, I'm gonna preface this with the fact that socialism back in the 19th and even going into the almost mid 20th century, it wasn't the dirty word that it is now. It wasn't uncommon to have socialists running for office and winning at times. It certainly was the most popular political movement, but it was certainly a part of American culture for a good, 75 years or so. So in the late 19th, and Christian socialism was a huge movement. And in the late 19th century,
was Prescott Bush a socialist? Bush's great-grandfather in 1911 or whatever?
I don't know. I know that he had ties to Hitler, who was a socialist. So he definitely had ties to them. That's for sure. But in the late 19th century, this magazine, they wanted to sell some flags. So they hired this Christian socialist minister named Francis Bellamy to essentially sell flags for them. And he wrote the original rendition of the Pledge of Allegiance, which not only sold some flags, it became kind of a popular thing that he was promoting on himself. It didn't instantly become a thing in schools. It was just kind of a brand that he really started pushing, which at that time, before 1942, they did not place their hands on their hearts. They did kind of one of these gestures here.
Really?
When you look at old pictures of kids,
they turned the Nazi one just upside down.
It was upside down, and when you look at pictures of children in the 1930s and 20s doing what's called the Bellamy salute, looks pretty bad. Didn't age well.
Look this up, Lodge. I gotta see this. How have I never heard this? How has this been kept from my brain this whole time?
It's there. Just Google Bellamy salute, and then so you basically had this minister. Like a lot of socialists were nationalists, which national socialism isn't a new concept, especially not even in the United States. And so he was essentially. There it is. There it is.
There's the Bellamy salute. No shit.
Yeah, you can understand in 1942 they're like, hey, let's just.
Are you sure that
switch it up?
Are you sure that's not just kids at an Atlanta Braves game? Is that? Can we verify? I don't know.
Oh yeah, that old tomahawk chop. They're still doing it. Good for them. Good for you, Atlanta. Don't let go.
Way to hang in there and ruin your economy over a All-Star game.
Yeah.
It's a way to stick with it.
So yeah, the Bellamy salute, it was essentially created A, to sell magazines, and B, to sell indoctrination. And so there were a couple changes over the years. The last major change to it was during the McCarthy era, where they added the under God part to it. It's steeped in bullshit, and it's steeped in like bad intentions. And for me, I'm not a political person. I'm not a highly political person, but I just see the hypocrisy in it, where we talk about we want our kids to be independent. We want to be free thinkers, but you're carrying on this tradition, this monologue that's just steeped in shitty intentions. And the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance are two different things. Every country has a national anthem. Yeah. Where the Pledge of Allegiance is, you almost expect to see that kind of, forcing children to recite pledges to a government. You almost expect to see that in places like North Korea, not the United States of America. Kids are going to be capable of loving their country without you having to frickin' force them to stand up and, recite socialism.
Well, it's funny is because as a police officer, we did not start a single shift citywide. So the way it worked is you have a district and maybe like 10 or 15 people might be in a squad room, which could be at any part of the city. Well, at roll call, everybody in the city is on the monitors in their squad rooms, and they all stand up and they do the Pledge of Allegiance citywide before every shift.
Which
so
weird to me. I nenever did that ever.
If I was still a cop, I would sit down for it. Could you imagine?
Yeah, and pull an old Kaepernick and say, like, this is kind of bullshit. I'm not doing this. Who's with me? And like 5 other guys join in, like, good enough. Maybe I can get some sponsorship deals out of this.
And then you criticize policing, and then you go back to policing, and then you get mad when they won't bring you back. That's that's crazy, man. How free you think we really are when you think about just that example of really what could be categorized as propaganda. How free do you think we are here? Do you think the home of the free or land of the free, home of the brave kind of a thing is in and of itself a piece of propaganda that as long as these people are happy and patriotic and get to shoot their guns and kill their chickens and raise their bulldogs, that
eat horse meat,
whatever, as long as they can have that, drink their Budweiser on their, eat their Traeger food, whatever it is, that is the way that people are being controlled. It's not as maybe oppressive in terms of economically, like it would be in other countries or something like that for various reasons. But how free do you think we really are?
Well, I agree with you. There is a certain degree of when you have the majority of the population kind of maintaining blissful ignorance and just being happy and content with what they have, you fall into this kind of, I would imagine a lot of people fall in this idea that they are free and they're able to ignore kind of deeper issues. And that is super nuanced, and it would take hours to even get one layer into that. But compared to other countries, do I think we truly are? We truly are one of the freest countries in the world. I truly believe that, compared to a lot of other places. Mm-hmm. For example, being in Sweden, ex-flickvän, my ex-girlfriend, she was she's an American citizen. She still maintains her as far as I know, her Swedish citizenship, but she chose to, Sweden is an extremely industrious, well-maintained country. They live by a thing called lagom, which means not too much, not too little. They don't really have that much poverty, and their displays of wealth aren't anywhere near ours, but everyone's content and happy. You can be a janitor and have a car and a house, and everyone's taken care of for the most part. They're comfortable, they eat, they got their TV, they got everything they need, good schools, all that. But in that kind of society, it's just cultural. There's not as much room to move if you have an entrepreneurial mindset. There's not as much room to kind of pave your own way in life. If you're kind of born into a certain class, you generally stay there. Where in the United States, we do have a lot more freedom of opportunity. Again, our lows can be pretty low. It's not the worst in the world, but compared to a place like Sweden, our lows are low. But we also have the opportunity to, do whatever can I swear on this show?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We have the opportunity to do whatever the frick we want, and we have the opportunity to do it in any way we want for the most part,
Yeah. What why do you think that political? Why do you think that is? From your excursion to Sweden, like, do they have military protection from other people so that they don't have to spend as much there? I know when I went to Costa Rica before, I was there for a year, and everybody talks about the literacy rate in Costa Rica. For a third world country in Central America, it's like a 98% literacy rate.
Amazing.
They pour a lot of time and energy into their education, and the results show, but they're able to allocate those things into public education because they don't have a military. The United States is basically their military, right? Like, hey, if shit goes sideways, we just pick up this red phone over here, and Nicaragua is not a problem anymore, like. So did you see anything that stands out to you over there that's like, oh, this is why they're able to maintain that level of consistency?
Yeah, there are two things that are glaringly obvious if you're over there. One of them is they only have 10 million people, and it's a pretty large landmass. So most of the people are all concentrated in kind of the southern portion. So 10 million people is not a lot of people. It's a lot easier to maintain order with a low population like that. There's actually two more parts. The second part is cultural. They have, well, actually it's one part. They are, historically speaking, a homogenous culture, meaning they have always generally kept to themselves, and they've always done things the way they've always done them. Where America, because of our diversity and our diverse history, we're constantly changing and evolving. There's so many different avenues of what makes us American, where they are just pretty much, we've always been Swedish, we've always been Scandinavian, this is the way we've always done it. Where America, like, there are so many aspects that can change the way we do things. But the Swedes, the Swedes are extremely democratic. They high voter turnout. They're very civically involved. Not that we aren't, but yeah, they low population, historically homogenous culture puts you at a huge advantage that countries like Canada, the United States, Mexico, and most of South America, we don't have that advantage in the Western Hemisphere, because we're all, for the most part, we're all countries built on immigrant culture, and you see it play out. Things are a little more complicated out here in this part of the world.
when you start your history with showing up on somebody else's land and going, surprise.
Yeah. Hey,
things just kind of progress from there.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, all you different indigenous tribes, us Spanish guys, us French guys, us Portuguese guys, and us British guys. We're all just going to do weird shit against each other until we finally just get over that. Then we're going to turn it on you. Hey, sorry, it's going to be fucked up here for a while. Also slaves.
Also slaves.
Get ready, it's coming.
Yeah.
Now, have you seen 1888?
1883?
1883. Sorry.
Is that the Yellowstone spinoff?
I don't know why everybody keeps saying it is. I don't think it correlates to
prequel.
Yellowstone.
Prequel.
I guess. I mean, fucking hundreds of years before.
I haven't seen it.
It's
great. Good. You should have been a character in it on the Oregon Trail. You should have caught dysentery.
He would have been the butcher. He would have been the butcher, the guy that
yes,
all the meat.
He'd be a perfect butcher. If you guys in the chat have seen 1883, just that's perfect. That's excellent casting there, Tansey. And if you ever watch it, you should have been the butcher. Perfect.
It's really good, Jack. I mean, I feel like that's probably the most realistic rendition of the Oregon Trail that I've ever seen. I feel like they just took the video game and made it into a movie.
Now I'm intrigued, because when the whole Russia thing kicked off and Ukraine thing, I got weirdly depressed for like a day, and I was at work, and I went and I played the Oregon Trail while at Black Rifle. I played the Oregon Trail for 3 hours.
Did you make it to the Pacific?
I gotta text Evan. This is not. We gotta end this.
Was
right
it
now.
like Evan Hafer has been bit by a snake? Matt has dysentery.
But you better believe my entire family died. But you better believe I made it to the end with like a fucking 1,500 rounds of bullets.
Yeah. No, the movie or the series or whatever, it's a 10-part series, but it's got Sam Elliott, and it's just literally him taking like a couple hundred people on the Oregon Trail. It's chaos. It's gnarly. It's a great show. And I think it was funny because we were talking about when he was talking about Power of the Dog, the film, and they asked him about the difference between his show and the Power of the Dog. And he had some really nasty things to say about Power of the Dog. But after I watched 1883, I'm like, damn, I would be offended too if I was making a historically accurate, portrayal of the Oregon Trail. And then you got this other sissy cowboy movie that's completely the opposite. I kind of get where he was coming from talking shit on that movie. So
it's interesting an experienced actor like him did that, because usually they tend to stay quiet about other people's work, even if they do hate it. It's interesting. He must have felt powerful.
Well, it was also good. Well,
they about that.
I think it was on like What the Fuck podcast or WTF podcast, whatever that is. But they asked him, they said, have you seen Power of the Dog? And he's like, that piece of shit movie. And he said, I like the director, I like the writer. And he's like, he goes, he's like, one, they made that movie in New Zealand. It wasn't even made here in the United States. And then two, you got a bunch of cowboys gallivanting around without their shirts on and these beautiful little chaps. It was like watching the Chippendales try to wrangle cattle. That's not the way it was back then. These men were too tired to be gay, and I get it now that I watch the Oregon Trail.
I just come home one night and just be a little gay, but I'm so tired. I've just been such a long day. I don't even have time to be gay. What's my life?
I mean, honestly, like when you watch 1883,
sorry, Rob, you're not going to be able to come tonight.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So what's you said that you were also a single mother. What do you make of this the current cultural milieu of identity reality? Not even identity politics, it's just identity reality, like people being something that they may or may not be, and where do we draw the lines? How does Jack Mandeville make sense of this world in that context?
I go to Twitter once a day and I take my opinions from a slew of people, and I just get burnt out, and I just, I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. No, straight up, I go to Twitter once a day and I just see a bunch of opinions and it just overwhelms me, and I shut down. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go like some sports memes. Yeah. I'm at the point in my life where I've learned to kind of shut. Oh, and it's not that I don't have opinions on certain things. It's just, let's put it this way. If I do my best not to misgender trans people. Like, I go out of my way to make sure if someone identifies as a woman and they're going through the transition, I call them Mrs. or Miss or whatever. But if I fuck up, and I'm not fucking up because it's intentional. It's just I'm a schleppy straight guy who mainly hangs out with other straight dudes. So I'm just not in that world. If someone corrects me, I'll make an adjustment to do my best to identify someone as they want. But like, you can't expect me to just know, because it's a lot of shit to know from what I've seen on Twitter.
Well, if you love Twitter, you got to take a deep dive into alternate lifestyles and identities on TikTok, because
I can't even imagine.
Do you have TikTok, Jack?
No, I'm not on TikTok. So,
dude, I feel like TikTok would be your platform. I think you could shine. 100% dominate. If you had a TikTok, I'd follow every second of every.
Call it Shirtless Jack on TikTok, and dude, you're gonna have a million followers like in about 10 days.
I would follow. It would give me purpose in this life to follow your TikTok.
So Mike, you're an influencer, and I know a lot of influencers, and I see the way that influencers have to keep up with all the different social media platforms. Donut Operator. he moved to San Antonio. I'm around him a bit. Watching the way that he has to constantly be doing something on camera is so stressful to me to watch. I can't imagine. For me, like I'm a writer first. That's how I make most of my income. And I'll do the acting stuff whenever. And I like to go on Instagram and dick around because it's a good way to test material.
Yeah.
But like all that TikTok stuff seems like exhausting. It's insane, like how much effort has to go into something like that. And look at me, I'm just a lazy fat piece of shit. So,
dude, I don't think so. I think TikTok, is the easiest platform to make content on. But honestly, like all the stuff that you do in your Instagram stories, just do it on TikTok, and you'll get 10 times the reach.
All right, is this my phone that's doing this?
No, that's Tansey's camera melting down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. I want to make sure.
They got nuked. Over there.
No, we're good though.
What are the things that you hold strong opinions on? What are the non-negotiables of Jack Mandeville? Like what are the opinions that you hold that you budge for no man?
Francis or hey, by the way, I've been up. Here's an opinion. I've been up since 3:50 a.m. in the morning, and I don't know how the fuck Jocko does it, man. Francis Bellamy, I think he's a piece of shit and a fraud. I'm pretty hell bent on that.
Nice.
No, I'll say this.
Bellamy.
I'm not a person. I guess I don't have a lot of hardcore political opinions. So when I tell people like I'm big on 2A stuff, like I really believe in gun rights, people will make that assumption about you that you must lean one way or the other because of that, which is not the case, because that's just like one thing like it's important. It's in the Constitution. It's part of our culture. It needs to be part of our culture. We should make adjustments. I think people need to have better safety. I think people have to have better gun safety awareness, and that can happen in a lot of ways without impeding on people's actual rights. But it's the same thing with the First Amendment. Like, I'm one of those people. Like, for example, like I'm big with 1A shit. Like, especially like, for example, Bill Maher is a guy that it's not a guy that I always agree with, but I appreciate that a guy like that exists.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
He tells it like he sees it. And it's not like I don't agree with him for the most part, but like I appreciate that Bill Maher lives in America and is maximizing what the First Amendment is meant to be, which is calling out people of power, which is, he's a humorist too. So, which is, like I just said, calling out people of power, which is one of the strongest things we have in our society, is we can say fuck you to the president. We can tell one of our congressmen he's a piece of shit, or he or she's a piece of shit. We can do that. So
yeah,
as
a comedian, isn't that one of the things that you would think is valuable in that space, is like being able to speak to power, right?
Super. And I don't give a shit who it is. Everyone should be critiquing power in every sense. Like in every sense, people should be, and not just power where it aligns with maybe their preconceived political opinions, but people should attack power for the fucking fun of it because they can.
Yeah, I feel like that's like when I always say punk rock is dead. That's why I say that, because I feel like back in the day it used to be that you raged against the machine, and now I feel like everybody rages with it. Like now it's cool to rage with the machine.
Yeah. But you know what? But young people, what I appreciate about young people is they don't give a shit. And you get older and you start overthinking things, and you start setting boundaries and rules, and you lose a lot of that. What I appreciate about young people is they're still kind of fucking sane, even though they could be uneducated on something. They're just fucking doing it as they see it, which I appreciate.
Gotcha. What are you writing right now? Like you said your writing's where you make the most bang for your buck. You writing anything juicy right now? Got anything in the works?
Well, yeah, I'm on staff with Black Rifle, so there's always little sketch stuff. There's little projects. Right now, I'm working on a larger project. And you guys as YouTubers and internet guys understand. Like we just locked a 12-page script today that we're going to be filming. It's actually a music video, so we wanted to. So it's for a local artist named Zeus El Meranesio. I'm in San Antonio, so there's going to be a lot of names like that. He's a Tejano artist, and it's about 3 minutes of music, but we wanted to go back to the days of Michael Jackson's Thriller and all these like music videos that were not just the music itself, but these were like fantastical fucking productions. So we're doing a 12-minute music video essentially that is going to consume most of my time for the rest of the month. I just got done meeting him. We did about a 7-hour meeting today and locked that script down, and now we're going into pre-production. So
could have been a 10-hour meeting if you weren't playing Oregon Trail.
Yes. That's only when the Russians invade Ukraine. And trust me, after 24 hours of reading Twitter, I was over it.
Oh God. So
there's a lot of shit takes on Twitter.
Oh, for sure.
So you're writing this script. I mean, what's that like every day, getting to wake up and write scripts for Black Rifle? I feel like that's a fucking dream come true.
Yeah. It's a job like anything else, and I'm getting paid for it because, I've gained the experience over the years. There are times where I'll be like, not grumpy about it all. I don't think I ever take it for granted, but there are times where, I have to, tax season comes around. I have like fucking 20 1099s. I'm sorry. I have freaking 20 1099s, and I'll get all stressed out, and I have to remind myself, like, dude, you get to write dick and fart jokes for a living. Like there's no reason why you should ever be letting anything get to you. This is what you always wanted. You're here now. You know what I love about being in my 30s too, like especially my late 30s, is people just start listening to you, and even sometimes you're like, what? Why? Okay, all right. He's older. He must know something.
What out of all the people that you get to work with, because you get to work with a slew of characters across the spectrum, who's your favorite to work with?
Within Black Rifle Coffee, I've always had the best working relationship with Jared Taylor. And Jared's like, it's like containing lightning in a bottle when you're with him. So
you guys have a really similar sense of humor.
Yeah, I would say very, very much so. And we can complement each other in different ways. And yeah, we do. We just have a goofy, and historically it used to be we'd be just sitting around his place or whatever. We'd come up with the dumbest idea, and instead of overthinking, let's shoot it, and we would just shoot it. So I really enjoy doing things like that. Things are, more structured in a lot of ways these days, which is a good thing. But what I like about Black Rifle is when you're with Jared Taylor, there's always going to be that element of let's just fucking do it and not overthink it.
Yeah. Nice. Well, what is your best cop experience, and what is your worst cop experience?
That is a good. Well, I would have to say my best cop experience wasn't like an interaction in any way where I called the police. It was I went on like a 12-hour ride along with one of my old Marine buddies. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps with him. He went back to West Texas. He was probably on the force for about 4 years at that point. I went out there and I did a 12-hour ride along with him. And it was a great experience for a few reasons. One of them is just getting to have that kind of intimate alone time with my buddy, even though like we were showing up to scenes that could be chaotic. But I got to have this cool alone time in that squad car in between calls where I really got to see him in this job that he really loved. He's one of those guys that loves being a cop. Like, it's just
I think that like when you're in a cop, and I love ride along. I hated having a ride along with me. It's almost a punishment to be forced to be with a ride along, because then you have to like curve the way you talk.
Them.
Yes, and you have to like be careful what you say and what you don't say. And a lot of times you don't know if these are like they've inserted them for a reason to like catch you doing something or saying
A
stuff.
plant.
Like, you know, like a plant. Cause like a lot of times I would get them. I'd be like, what are you doing a ride along? You trying to be a cop? And they're like, no, I'm just here for college credits. I'd be like, all right, cool. But if they're like, yeah, I want to be a cop, I would like go hard on them. I'd be like, why do you want to fucking be a cop? Like, you think you want to deal with this bullshit all day? You know, but it's like when anybody that's ever done a ride along, especially when they do one for 12 hours, which not a lot of people do, when they get done, they're just like, I have a whole new outlook on police life, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I think I've said it before. I think everyone, you know, like not everyone should have to join the military or anything like that, but I think everybody should have to do a ride along, just like they have to sign up for jury duty. I think like you get your name called and you got to go sit and do a ride along.
Especially if you're in any position where, like, any position of power or where you have the power of information. Like, I think journalists should. I don't think they should be forced to, but I think it'd be beneficial for journalists to go do that, like beat journalists, to go do that, so they have a better understanding when they're forming stories. You know, complex stories that involve police work. Yeah, it was just so cool to see him in this element that he really loved. But I was still with like a close friend. We were catching up, and then we got to show up to these. You know, I served.
Greatest show on earth.
I did the whole war thing, but that's not even in the same arena as cop life. It's two different things. And so the cop thing was the ride along was so interesting to me because you got to see a diverse amount of. The calls are diverse, right? It could be some hooker sucking some dude off in a Walmart parking lot, to a domestic abuse, to a car accident, to a scared old lady who thinks there's nobody out there. It's just all in her head. There's all sorts of different crazy calls.
Are you sure you didn't do this ride along with me? That is literally a description of one of my shifts.
I feel like it's every night.
Like to a T.
Yeah. It gave me a lot of respect for the profession in the sense that I saw how like complex the situations police deal with are. It's not just chasing bank robbers around or busting crack and meth heads. It's like there's so many different scenarios where a police officer is showing up at any given time.
I think that's why like a lot of cops love being cops, is because you get to like no night is the same. It's like you might be grumpy on your way into work, but like once you're out on the street and you get that first call, you're like, oh shit, what's next?
Yeah, and you don't know what you're going into.
Exciting.
I would imagine there's a level of adrenaline, even if it's
always
a light call. Like I would imagine there's some adrenaline that starts pumping into you.
Yeah,
totally worth dying 20-some years earlier than normal people. Whatever's coursing through your veins all the time.
You guys love your fucking heart attacks, don't you?
Sure do. I think the only people that love it more are firefighters. They train to climb the ladders, but their food intake from all the grocery shopping sometimes doesn't match the physical necessities.
You ever have any bad experiences with cops? No.
Well, I can get into the anecdotal like teenager shit. I was just thinking about this earlier. And forgive me, I'm not kidding you. I have been up since like 3:50 a.m.
Are you doing that because of the Jocko thing? Are you doing that because you want to be like Jocko?
I just go to bed like at 9 p.m. So it's just natural. I wake up.
Are you going to start taking a picture of your watch every morning in black and white?
Yeah, just hey, I'm going to rebrand myself. Also, I'm quitting. I'm just going to be a motivational guy. Like, you're not really in a position. You don't have the resume, dude.
Yeah, what you need to do, shirtless Jack, the words on your stomach, get after it, and just put, like 0430 or whatever, black and white photo to start a motivation.
Or you just start taking a
messages
picture
on you
in the morning with a donut and your watch. You'd be like, yeah, get after it early. You can't get a physique like this without having a donut at 4 a.m.
Let me tell you, I just thought of the bad experience. I had to go hard. I'll say this. It was when I was a teenager, and I had just turned 18, and I had a friend of mine. She was still 17, like we were like probably 3 or 6 months apart. But I was still in high school and everything like that. I got a call from her like at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. She always had problems with her mom. Like they never got along. but she's like, hey, can you go drop me off my friend's house in the next town over or whatever? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I went and picked her up. I dropped her off at her friend's house like 1 or 2 towns over, and then I went home. And then like midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, I didn't have a cell phone. It was like on my family's house phone. And I was the first, there was a call, and I was the first one to pick up. I'm like, hello, and is this Jack Mandeville? And her mom had reported her as a runaway because she was 17. And this detective, or I'm assuming he was a detective on the other end of this line, 18, you're an adult, but you're a fucking dumb kid when you're 18. And he started going into me like, you just aided a bet at a runaway. That's a felony. You need to tell us where she's at right now. And I'm like, what? Am I going to prison? I've seen Oz. I'm not going to do well there. I was scared shitless because like kids, I would imagine as cops, it's easier to tell a kid what to do than it is a 30-year-old man, right?
For sure.
I was scared shitless. Like, he's saying that I'm going to go to prison. I just was picking my friend up. I didn't know. Anyways, my dad, this is one of those badass things my dad has. My dad's not a tough guy. He is a 5'6" round pear-shaped man who did too many drugs in the 70s, and now he was just a salesman, a regional salesman selling car parts like Tommy Boy.
God.
But my dad gets on the phone. My dad gets on the phone. He goes, "Who's this?" And he goes, "So and so from the." I'm not going to. Well, it doesn't. Some police department. And my dad goes, "Don't call here again." Just hangs up on the guy. And I was like, "Well, thanks for protecting me, Dad. I really needed that right there. I thought I was going to prison." So I think they got it all sorted out. But I remember that experience. That I was like, oh, they didn't need to come at me like that, or maybe they should have just asked politely. I probably would have told them I was stupid anyways.
It might not have been a detective. It might have been a rookie, and nobody else wanted to deal with that problem. And they're like, "Hey, listen, go call this dude, see what's going on." And he's just like, he was in the locker room talking himself up in the mirror, like, "You are in charge.
Yeah.
You will get the answers from this man. You will find this girl." Like, and then he picks up the phone and dials your number.
We're in a Gone Baby Gone situation. No, she's staying by the outlet mall.
They have malls in Minnesota?
Yeah, indoor, hardcore.
Oh,
The biggest mall in America is there, right? The Mall of America.
The Mall of America, and the first indoor mall in the country was in the state of Minnesota.
I think I remember
Very
that from
nice.
the Mighty Ducks scene when they were skating through the mall.
They were in the Mall of America, yeah.
Never seen any Mighty Ducks movie.
What?
Are you kidding me?
No.
Fuck, dude.
You're
what's
from
wrong with you?
Michigan.
Yeah, I know. I'm from Hockeytown, USA. I don't know. I can't.
I love
I've
the
never
Mighty
seen.
Ducks.
What's the one with the? Gosh, what's his name?
Remember
he
the
played.
Titans?
No, man. I'm trying to think of the actor. Kurt Russell. Didn't he play in Miracle or something?
Miracle.
I never seen that either.
Phenomenal
Great movie.
movie.
Yeah, I never
Great
seen it.
movie.
That phenomenal. You gotta watch it.
Was that about the
That's-
Team
that's
USA
one of-
hockey?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
I
probably,
know.
in my opinion, out of all, it's definitely top 5 best sports movies ever.
Really?
100% for me. Yeah.
Better
what's your
than
favorite-
Gene Hackman's Hoosiers?
Yeah. Miracle's better.
Hoosiers. I 100%. Miracle's better than Hoosiers.
All right.
Yeah.
What is
'Cause I
your
could give a
favorite cop?
shit about rural Indiana.
Dude, are you guys gonna do like a Range 15, but like a first responder version of Range 15?
So I am working with I did a couple TV shows for a production company called Vet TV in the past. Some of their writers have started their own thing. It's called Code 3 TV, where it's gonna be essentially be like Vet TV, but it's gonna be specifically geared towards cops, firefighters, and
so
EMT.
funny.
Well, they've had
So-
Vet TV had
Endless content.
Donuts been part of something there. Angry Cops. I think even 911 Strong did some episode.
Yeah.
there too.
I did a couple scenes with him. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not total strangers to that. So that'd be cool to see them kind of dip into that foray for sure.
Yeah, we just shot a pilot, and the head writer, I worked on a show with him, which is probably my most favorite show that I've ever been involved with. So I have a lot of confidence of what he's capable of. He's one of those guys that he's a really good storyteller. So, hopefully people see the pilot and they can get some money off of it and start creating actual long form episodes for these shows. And these guys are comedy writers. So these are going to be comedies at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Are you doing any stand up these days?
I do live work. I'm reluctant to, I don't consider myself a stand-up because I think in order to consider yourself a stand-up, you have to be like a club guy. You got to be doing the clubs, That's never been me. I'm a writer because I'm a pussy. So but I do a lot of live work. So I'll MC events, which I have material for those. And I've done like USO tours. Well, I'll do like 10-minute sets. So I do have material that I do. So I've done stand-up, but it's more of a favor thing than it is a money-making thing.
So you work with Drinking Bros. Obviously, we're part of the Drinking Bros Network. I've gotten to be on the show, on your show, which was awesome. How do you enjoy doing Friday night Jack Sesh? I think it's hilarious how you like fucking get into character, you turn it all on. That shit is gold. How does it doing that like every Friday night?
Wait, that's a character? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
No, well, it is, but it's not.
You want me to get into character?
Somebody said the show wouldn't be complete until you were shirtless.
Yeah. By the way, I've got this pimple right here I've been working on for 2 days, and I am not getting any juice out of this puppy right here.
That's deep,
you made
man.
me pop a pimple on your back during that show. That's
I know
maybe the grossest thing I've ever done in my life.
I swear to God, I shower
did
every
it.
day.
Yeah,
Man, that's a lot. You give
Jack
it peer
Mandeville
pressure
tells
too
you
easy.
if you're on Jack Mandeville's Jack Sesh and he says, "Get up and come pop this pimple on my back," you
Did I order you?
pimple.
Wouldn't be. Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
I did it.
I know you did it, but I wouldn't do it. I'd have been like, you can pop your own pimple, bitch. I ain't
If
doing
you guys
that.
really want me to get into character, let me pull this number on you right here. Hi, fellas. How you doing? You want me to do the rest of the show like this, or you want me to get back to my normal stuff? I can do either way.
I think you'll make the fans happy in the chat that you did a little bit of that. They're excited.
I love doing the Jack Sesh. It's really great because it's a different creative environment than what I'm at with Black Rifle. It's not because it's Black Rifle, but script writing is very structured. It's very detail oriented. You're doing a lot of problem solving. It's a lot of organizing. Even for like a 5-minute dick and fart joke sketch, you're having to do research at times. So it can be very meticulous, where doing a live call-in show where anything can happen at any moment, and just getting to be a character and just maintain that character, that's super exciting because you really just get to play around. And great things can happen when there's a team of comedy writers scripting something. Just as much great things can happen where you're just dicking around and half drunk. So it's fun to it's a great way to end the week. Is it's kind of almost a catharsis, if you will.
Jacob said the best was when.
Go ahead.
Okay, it says I put the comment on the screen. The best was when Jack would go live and Drinking Bros for 8 hours, and he just watched TV and eventually fell asleep, and it just kept going. That's so good.
Dude, I watched. You were eating dinner somewhere, and you just set up the live feed of just you eating like lo mein noodles. I was at work. I might have even been in my cop car at the time. I don't remember, where I was at, but I fucking sat and watched the whole thing. It was forever long.
In 2000, it was 2018, early 2018. I was like at a low point. I was living in Washington, D.C., which a guy like me does not belong in that community. And I was just feeling so lonely. But so I just started, I was drinking, but what I would do is I would just live stream myself sleeping every night. And I'd wake up sometimes, there'd be like 80,000 views and like 5,000 comments. Like it was just like this. I started doing weird shit because I was in such a low point that I didn't give a shit, which ironically, that's a great time to experiment with comedy when you're about to blow your fucking brains out. So, yeah.
That's why they say like a lot of comedians end up, like that are suicidal. Like there's a ton of them that fucking are at the bottom. Is that a thing? Is that like you think you got to be at rock bottom to be a good comedian?
No. The most consistent best work I've ever done is when I've been sober, clear-headed, and getting 8 hours of sleep. There's nothing I hate worse. And you always see, it's always the amateurs that say this kind of shit. There's nothing I hate worse than when artists romanticize the idea of being a night owl who has their scotch and waits for the muse to enter their door. I'm like, no, you're good at your job when you have a clean house, you have a good credit score, you get good sleep, you have a schedule. Like being an artist is no different than working in any other field. You have to be well rested. You have to have a good mindset for work. You should probably exercise. You should eat your breakfast. You should have routine. So it's usually the amateurs that romanticize the lifestyle of a writer or whatever. There's no lifestyle. It's fucking work.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. If you did that at 4 a.m., I would have thought this was a Jocko podcast.
I know.
Dude, I got motivated. I'm going to get on schedule. I'm going to give myself a schedule now. I'm just kidding.
It gives me some ideas for content if you're not going to take it.
Yeah. It's like I'm 38, so I really can't stay up past 10 at this point. My body's hit a wall. I'm at the age where I get
We're
it
the
now.
same age.
But I'm saying I get it now. This last birthday,
Oh, yeah.
I get it now. Why like even the highest performing athletes start calling it calling it quits at this age. Like I get it now.
Yeah, no doubt. I didn't play rugby this season, and I barely played last season. But I pretty much, now that I've had my fourth kid, like I pretty much just say like now it's just my whole life revolves around them. So every day I wake up, I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I don't need to work out. I need to do something for my kids, or like I've just it's no longer about me. It's just about them. So I stopped caring within reason, I guess you could say. Caring within reason.
You still got to go to the gym.
But dude, I didn't go all week.
You got to get swole. You got to get swole, bro.
I do. I've got to go back.
Yeah, Mike, you're on that Jocko stuff, Mike.
Not too much. I did 75 hard. So I did that.
Listened to Jocko until I couldn't. I think he's real. I think he's a real deal person, but he gets really emotional during his podcast. And it's like when you listen to him, sometimes when he gets frustrated, you can hear that he's actually frustrated. And I yell, I go, bro, you're not fucking in that moment. Like that shit happened. Like he'll be hearing like a story from a Medal of Honor recipient. And he's like, oh, so your command staff, you're telling me that they told you not to pack extra ammo? And I'm like, bro, this happened like 5 years ago. Calm the fuck down. Like
he already wrote a best-selling book about it. You didn't read the book?
No, dude, he gets so emotionally invested that I can't. I used to get when I was in my cop car. I mean, that's really all I did was listen to podcasts and stuff. And it was one too many. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore.
With Mike, the reason why I said you're on that Jocko stuff is just I see pictures of you doing jiu-jitsu, so you're just a lot more active than I am. So.
Well, Jocko, I've heard Jocko is a monster at jiu-jitsu. I mean, he does it too, but like I've heard tales of people who have rolled with him that just say it's like it's not good for the person that's not Jocko. So,
I rolled with Mike and some. Do you call him a sensei, Mike? Is that what you call him? A sensei?
I don't know who that dude was. He's your friend.
The guy that we rolled with.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, I don't. What do you call like a jiu-jitsu coach?
A professor. They usually call him professor. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Was he a professor then?
Instructor.
No, he wasn't. He is a karate dude, like Taekwondo dude.
Yeah, like a sensei.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. But anyway, we rolled together, all three of us. Oh my God. They killed me. I thought I was gonna have a fucking heart attack. Is this your dog? You gonna show us your dog?
You guys want to see what you guys want to see what I got to deal with here after I get off the show?
Let's see this.
Everybody wants a bulldog. Everybody wants a bulldog until they do bulldog stuff. He just puked up his entire fucking meal.
Oh my gosh! No!
Oh. Dude, is this your house? Like, do you live in a warehouse?
I live in. Well, that's my sweetie boy. You're a good boy. You didn't do anything wrong, baby. Yeah, I live in a 100-year-old peanut factory that they turned into lofts.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I like
When
the high
you
ceilings though.
When I was down there with you guys in Texas, and you left, and you were like, "Y'all watch my dog. Don't let anything fucking happen to it." And then, like, dude, the mood when you left, it was so dramatic. I mean, all the producers at the headquarters, every 10 minutes were like, "Where's that fucking dog? Where is he? Where's the dog?" Like, everybody's like stressed out. And so at one point I was like, "Dude, the dog is right there. You guys all right?" He's right. He's like, "He's not chewing anything, is he?" And I was like, "I don't know. What would he chew?" And he's like, "It doesn't matter. He can't chew anything because if that dog dies, we will all be fucking murdered today. Like, it'll be the end of the world."
Yeah,
And it was
because
like,
you
yeah,
guys have kids.
That's the
all I
other
have in
opinion.
life.
That's Jack's final non-movable opinion. If you fuck with my bulldog, he will go full Jack Wick on you. It's like,
but he was like,
it.
he literally, I don't even think you had shoes on. You were like walking around the office with no shoes, a belt buckle on, if I remember correctly. And you just were like, you came in, you did some things, and you're like, "I'm leaving. I'll be back to get the dog later." And he just left. And then nobody knew except me that you had left. And like later on, people were like, "Hey, is Jack gone?" I said, "Yeah." And they're like, "Where's the dog?" And I was like, "He's like in the kitchen." Like, they were like running to go see where the dog was at. The whole day was all about your dog. Yeah.
I had no idea that I put that much pressure on everybody.
Oh,
He
bro,
had
they
a flight. He had a
stressed.
flight home. He canceled it. He's like, he's not back. I was given responsibility of the dog.
Those
stayed
boys
there
are
an extra day just
stressed when
because
it
of
comes
that.
to that dog. But listen, man, we'll get you back on later on in life. Like on our night shifts, we like break down, like sometimes we get into some real creepy shit. We had a lot of fun with Donut. We had a lot of fun with you. I think next time we get like a really fun, fucking dark historical story, I want to get you on so that we can tell you the story and get all your commentary or tell us we're wrong or we're right. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
I'd love that. I would absolutely love that.
Oh, man.
Sweet.
Well, hey, man, don't be a stranger.
I really appreciate you guys having me on. I really do.
Yeah, I'm glad that our audience can get a taste of you if they're not already following you. If you look for Jack Mandeville, I think your handles are all pretty straightforward, right? There's no weird ones.
Yeah, it's just my name, JackMandaville.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you can remember that.
Yeah,
What is Mandeville? Is that Swedish?
No, I think it's no. If it was Swedish, it'd be like Mandeville Guard or Mandeville Son. I think it's.
Oh wait,
I think
is Sweden? They don't have last names, right? They just take on. Do they have weird?
They have surnames. Yeah.
Okay. What country?
It usually ends with a Guard or a Lund or a Berg or a Son.
Okay. Isn't there a country where it's like
Lundgaard, huh?
Okay. Is there is one of those countries over there that just takes on like David's son or like Jack's son,
I mean, I'm
so
sure
their
that-
last names completely change all the time?
Yeah,
There's
in the
no
early
like
Nordic.
surviving last name.
I'm sure in the early Nordic days it could have been like that, but they developed into long-term surnames at this point. Yeah.
I got you.
They've evolved.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we need to next time when we have a creepy story, we'll reach out, see if you come on and hear the story, give your commentary, and I know that the people listening will be happy to hear from you again. But in the meantime, guys, if you have not followed Jack Mandeville, please do that. You can tune in to the Jack Sesh on Friday nights and
It's
all
on
of his
Patreon.
other shenanigans.
And it's worth it. And then you get on TikTok, Jack. I promise you, dude, you'll fucking rage.
As long as I can just share my Instagram story straight to it, if it's not a lot of makeup,
Yeah,
then I'll
do that. That's what I do on TikTok. I don't interact.
Whatever it is that you
at
normally
all.
do. Like that one video you did for Mike. Remember that one video you did for Mike where you were just like in bullshit Michigan? Because remember when you did that whole act for him? I was driving to Michigan and fucking Michigan. So like, if you just did that on TikTok, thousands of views.
My favorite. I've done a variety of Black Rifle like commercial contents as an affiliate in the like doing what I do for the cop space. But the favorite I don't know what year this was. It was probably like dude, it had to be like 2017, 2018. And
I know exactly what you're talking
helped me
about.
with a video where like
at least 4 years ago.
Yeah, I tossed coffee. I was giving coffee to the troops or something, and it dropped it. And you were I think you were shirtless and talking about how grateful you were for the coffee. I have to go back and find that video, and maybe we'll post it on Failure to Stop social media as a throwback. It was cracking me up, man, back then.
That was back in the days where you could just like, we got an idea. Let's fucking do it. Let's not overthink it.
Exactly. I love it. Well, dude, thanks again for hanging out with us. And to everyone watching, we will see you Friday morning at 11 a.m. here right on this channel live. And you will be able to hear Last Call on Thursday with Tansey, the overpaid producer. And yeah, more good stuff ahead. Go
Thanks,
pop
Jack.
a pimple.
You're the best, bud.
Jag älskar that's I love you in Swedish.
Oh, we love you too. We pledge to you.